Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about something that kind of sits quite close to me because it plays into a lot of stuff that I do in my spare time, and it also plays into a lot of other bits and pieces, but also it relates directly back to that whole personal strength thing that I spent so much time on at the beginning of this channel and that I've referenced so many times since. And that is creativity. And you will remember from my personal strength videos, the 3Rs, that one of the things that I mention is that kind of being adaptable, and that kind of level of adaptability is key to being resilient, to being to kind of listening to reason and to using logic, and also to taking responsibility, to actually being able to work out what is and isn't something for you to take on board. And it's saying adaptability, saying kind of being inventive or imaginative in the way that you work and stuff like that. I don't feel that gives it enough credit, because those people who can take a problem and flip it round and deal with it have exactly the same kind of typical creative traits as any artist or musician or anyone like that who does well in what they do, and so I wanted to go through kind of the way that creative people, successful creative people, tend to operate, and kind of relate it back as well to those 3Rs and to that adaptability and stuff that I mentioned before. And so as a result, you've got a lot of things that fall in common. For example, you've with a lot of individuals who will be particularly personally strong and take account of what they're doing so that they can use that to their advantage. They'll focus on the rest of the world. They'll be quite aware. They'll observe everything. They'll take stuff on board and they'll try and use it. And obviously the world itself, where we are, what we do, how things are happening around us, what we see in the news, what we see in news and TV and music and computer games and all those things, that feeds the creative person as much as it feeds someone who's looking for clarity so that they can use it as armor. For the people who are being successful in creativity, you're looking for they look at obstacles, they find issues with their own work, and they will try and turn them around. They will try and work through them. They will be resilient in that way. The same goes for these strong people. Again, also things like seeking out new experiences, leading back to the kind of greater awareness and appreciation of things around them. Something that both groups do. It's a really prominent thing for both highly creative people and for particularly strong people, because also there tends to be a lot of crossover between the two. They will be that that focus on taking risks and applying themselves in their various areas, because they will feel confident in the growth that they'll receive from the other side. Someone who is willing to be resilient, use the information at their disposal to best push forward and take responsibility for it, is far more likely to take risks, because they are going to realize that the risks that they are taking are within kind of the limits of what they can handle. Otherwise, why would they be doing it? The same goes for a creative person who will take a risk on maybe doing a new piece of work, or looking for a new kind of outlook, or looking for something that's been overlooked that they can then turn around, and maybe it's not worked well for people in the past, but it's something that they can try. It's something that they can push forward. And whilst there's a lot of time kind of pressing that out on the world, as I've also mentioned in other videos, introspection is a core key thing for the development of these traits, for the development of these things to be going on. And that's exactly the same for creative individuals who will try and get into a more flow state. They will lose track of time. They will focus on what's inside. They'll daydream. They'll get lost in their work just because it's all just flowing out of them, and developing for them. Excuse me. And as a result, there's a very prominent thing where introspection and kind of an inward focus then leads to a greater expression, a greater kind of usage of the things that they've worked on in their work, in the world, in the things that they do, the people that they interact with, and so on and so forth. And then one of the most prominent things is that, to me, is that both these groups that we're talking about here find it very easy to connect dots. The patterns that they see, whether it's in working processes and the things that they can make work and the things that they can make work in their own life, because they're happy to stand up against it and they're happy to take the information on board and work with it. Or the fact that you've got someone who's, say, very artistically expressive, very, very artistically talented, and they will see the way that patterns form in structure, and then they will be able to replicate that, and they'll be able to do things with it that other people can't, or that it takes other people longer to do. Those patterns, that recognition, it's something that stands out to these people, and it's something that they can then use and work with. And yeah, that's kind of like the main few things that I think kind of stand out between creative people, and the way that creativity is a hugely important thing that doesn't really get discussed or moved around all that much, and it's simply because there's not a lot of focus on it. People think when you say creativity, they only think of art or music or writing or other fluffier subjects that really and truly don't have a huge breadth to kind of the modern world, because quite frankly you do not make as much money off the time that you spend creating a perfect piece of art as you do from pumping out umpteen million individual units from a factory or something like that. And so with that focus not being there, it ends up being kind of left to one side and dropped to one side. But the points of commonality between desirable workers who are able to adapt and able to be inventive and come up with new ideas and work with those, the resilience required to really kind of push forward with something that you care about, and with the ideas that you have, these traits are all desirable in terms of work, in terms of the way that the society seems to want people to have these traits and to apply them, and also just because they're good traits to have. And yet, just because of the words you use, the appreciation of those words and how people take them usually lends to things to being ignored. And so here I wanted to connect the two, because quite frankly, being creative, having outlets for things that you care about and want to do, YouTube itself is a huge platform that demonstrates that believing in what you can do, trying to be creative, trying to work hard on the things that you're pushing forward with, the platform itself demonstrates that can be useful and profitable and worthwhile to all manner of people. But what do you guys think? Creativity, is it as important as I seem to be saying it is, and is it as integral to personal strength and some of the other things that I've talked on this channel as I seem to be suggesting? How do you guys express yourselves creatively? Please let me know. Otherwise, if you found this at all interesting, if you found it useful, if it's something that you think other people will appreciate, please like and share this video, and then otherwise please subscribe for more, and I will see you in the video tomorrow. Take care, guys.